What is going on, guys? Paul coming back at you with another skiff building video, and we are getting close to the end. I got some flotation foam in the mail about a week ago, and I just been waiting on the humidity to get right, waiting on the temperatures to get right, and right now it is right. We're sitting on about 72 degrees. The humidity is, I think, around 70, which is good, perfect for foam. Maybe not the best, but it'll work from down here. Down here in the south, the humidity is usually like 90-something%. So if it ever drops below 85, you're just lucky, especially this time of year. But let's uncover this boat and put that dreaded thing in there that we all hate. Y'all seen those horror videos of people pulling foam out of the inside of their boats because the hull leaked? But the reason the foam is in there is because it's required by federal law if your vessel is under 20 feet. So I guess we got to do what we got to do. Let's get after it. Let's go over the directions, shall we? Clean surface of oil, grease, moisture before application between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Mix in well-ventilated area. We're outside. Necessary materials: 2 separate containers for part A and part B. Mixing blade or similar device, protective eyewear and gloves, secure mixing blade, high-speed 1/4-inch drill, and put on protective equipment. Pour desired amount of part B into empty mixing container. Pour desired amount of part A into B. Do not put part B on top of part A. Place secure mixing blade into container and mix for 20 seconds only. I got a stir stick. I don't think we'll be using a mixing blade. Alright, so looks like we need to label our containers with a marker. That's what we're going to do so we don't get confused. We'll have one A and we'll have one for B, and then we'll have a mix. This will be our mix cup, and it said pour A into B. So we'll go B first, then A. That way we don't get it messed up. Alright, we got us a stir stick. We're going to put B in the cup first, into the mixing cup here. The mixing cup will be completely disposable. You can reuse the B and A cups. Alright. So now when we add A to B and start mixing, we have 20 seconds to get it stirred around and creamy looking before it starts cooking off. And it'll start getting hot. Alright, there we go. We only got a few seconds to get this thing churned up. Starting to turn creamy now, and now we got to get it off into the boat. There we go. I like to kind of let it drip on them edges once you've already poured, so it can fill them in. I want the cavity to be completely filled. That way it'll be level with the deck. I can cut it off. I'm going to set the camera over there for a time lapse for you guys so you can actually watch it expand, and then I'll speed the camera up. Alright guys, I'm going to turn you around. We'll start on this one over here. Go ahead and just try to get those. This one here has got the sharp chine over here coming up at an angle, and all your foam is going to want to run to one side. But the good thing about it is that it'll find and feel its way in, and you'll just have to pour it down in the creases and try to fill in the spots that are empty. Hope all that's filling in nicely. So I got two different, I guess, foams by accident. When I ordered these, I got the Fiberglass Depot brand, and it says above 65 degrees. And then this LabX brand says 72 degrees and above. So kind of two different temperatures here, which this morning we're at about 68. So the stuff that I got here to 72 degrees might take a little longer to foam up. But there we go, expanding pretty good. I'm gonna have to go back and drip some more in there, but when you come back and hit the holes, just make sure you pour it in real slow. You don't want to put too much in there because it'll come out really high and you'll end up wasting a lot of it that you could have been putting in the boat. Okay, so I got 3 compartments here filled in. The one in the front still rising, that one's still rising. You can actually hear it kind of popping like little popping candy as it rises. But when you get done, you have to kind of shave it off, level of course, for the deck to sit on. It should look something like this. I accidentally dug a little pit into there, went in there at an angle and chipped it out, but that is plenty filled right there. The foam actually adds flotation, and it actually has sound deadening qualities. You can hear the difference in the sound there, but yeah, foam's a controversial issue because if you ever get it wet, boy, it gets heavy. I'm talking a couple 100 pounds heavy if you was to get all the foam here wet. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and epoxy all my other boxes now, and then when it dries, we'll start foaming the rest of it. Alright, so looking at the rear here, I changed my mind and cut those gussets off, and that cost me about 1.5 hours of extra work. So I had to go and fill in the sides of that with a 1/2 inch piece of plywood, which I was already going to put another piece of 1/2 inch plywood, which was going to make this thing about 1.25 inches thick. But now I had to go back and fill in, make a joint on the sides of that because there's so much fillet compound on the side of that middle piece that I just had to joint over it and put those pieces of plywood in place there. As you can see, there's 2 pieces there, and I've got this screwed in with some fender washers and a screw, and I got some microfibers for glue sandwiching that together, so it's just going to be one straight piece across there. And then my next piece will just be one whole piece across there glued to the back. I'm gonna have to go back and fill in all them holes I just made with those fender washers and screws there, and show you guys what I'm talking about here. But back here, see, I hadn't finished fiberglassing the transom yet, but once I get my final piece on there, I will. But down here, this is where I put microfibers around the drain, and it is seems to be super strong. There's no movement there, and I hope it doesn't crack. This will be the only place on the boat around here that water can actually get in here or through the front box, because this tube here goes all the way to the front box straight up, and that's to drain that box in case you take on water or fill it up with water or whatever. This tube here is just for electrical wires. So I've already put 3 coats of epoxy in these cavities here, and it's ready for foam. Alright, my GoPro battery died on me as I was pouring that cavity right there, but as it was rising, I was just trying to make sure it didn't shove my pipe up, because this thing is cut. I'm sorry, my deck was cut perfectly for this pipe to fit up through. And I hope I didn't shove it around, which I don't think it did. It seems to be in place right where it was at. So really can't move it now anyway. So if you did want to move it, it's there. We'll have to just make do with what we got. Tell you, it only takes about 15 or 20 seconds on this stuff to get creamy, and it'll start heating up in your hand, cooking off. It's ready to go. All right, nice creamy mix right there. There we go. A little bit down in there. I just let it drip to the edge of those mounds where it humps up at. It'll fill it in, no problem. What I don't want to do is overfill it like I did those over there. As good, I mean, you want it as flat as you want it to be, but also you got to think of how much product am I wasting with it coming up out like that. So try to find a happy medium here. I don't know if 2.5 gallons is going to be enough to do this. I hope it is, because I think a half gallon of A and B together is like $75, and a gallon of A and B together is $115. So it can get quite expensive. Alright, so this part of the video is really loud, and I'm just using a cutoff tool here that I use for flooring and to cut sharp corners. And I'm just trying to get that foam as level as I can here, and take the excess foam and throw it in the middle, because I was going to try to stack it up and then pour foam over it and just try to eat up some more of the space in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to get as level as I can. Alright, so after I've got it all leveled out and I kind of see a little hump and bump here, I'll take just a serrated kitchen knife here and I'll just hit it like this, and it'll find all the lumps and bumps, and it'll level it out for me. The corners is hard to get into. But yeah, there it is. Nice level surface to put the deck on. and that's going to give us some more support and deaden the sound. All right, I got most of the compartments sealed except for the center, but I took a break there and started cutting the tops off and throwing them inside because it looks like I'm going to be short, and I'm trying to take as much of that foam as I can and reclaim it, and I'll just pour foam on top of that. I only have 1 gallon of part A and part B left, but as for today, it's about all I can do today. I have to go somewhere, so the next video I will finish this, and we'll maybe start putting the deck on. No, we have to put the transom on. We have to cut us a new piece of transom, that's right. And then we'll put the deck on after we do the transom, after we get these boxes filled. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you on the next vid.